let's get another one going because that was mildly instructive.
Just the peanut gallery back here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can tell me what opening you want me to play, and I'll go from there. How about that? See if I get white or black. I don't know.
You can do this black too.
Oh yeah. We'll play. We'll play your systems. We just won't play them like you do. And by that I mean I'll try to play them correctly.
Quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't know, like with the London game that was played, I honestly don't know improvement on theory for white because I was trying to avoid like the queen b6 lines that are nasty. I assume you wanted to play the opening that you normally do. A not if they do the advanced.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I play the main lines now.
Okay.
Either c5 or bishop f5. I lean more towards bishop f5.
Okay. And
these lines, like you play knight d7, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with the. I don't know if it. Yeah, it was Smyslov, then it was Petrosian, now it's Karpov. Like everybody who plays this gets a name.
Plays it well.
I have the urge to play h5 here, so I'm going to do that. And I feel like I get more out of that than he does.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go knight b6 to prevent the bishop from going there. Gives our bishop options to get out to g4 since there's no h3, since h5.
Oh.
And now I'm going to go e6, and this knight probably comes back since he put his bishop on a passive square. And I like bishop d6 because there's no knight e4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that makes that weaker since the h-pawn moved. Yet another why I played h5 to provoke all this stuff to start with. I don't care if you take. I'll take, go bishop e7, use the open g-file after castling queenside. Aren't you just getting mated here? Bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, bishop h2 mate. So bishop takes f3 results in g takes f3. And I'm in the very least screwing up your pawns. Okay. I really want to make more out of the position than what I have. So I'm going to speculate a bit with knight h7 to see if I can't induce more.
I'll ask after.
And maybe I got what I was looking for, you know? A little bit of something.
A little bit more than something. A lot of something.
You have not dissuaded me, sir. I will give you this if you so desire. I want you to have it on your terms, though. If you really want it, you can have it, but we will see.
Not doing too bad considering.
Bishop pair, yeah. C4, bishop e3, fe3, knight d to f6. I want to trade more. That's a spirit sport. And we'll do it anyway. E5's coming. Knight g3, knight f2. You don't want to take me, but
it's a safe move.
Now it's a trade down job. What are they doing? And clock becomes a factor now. Too much of a time difference. You want to do that? That's fine. Okay. You put your king on a landmine square. That makes me want to go after you. And I will. You want that? I take with check, then I go rook e2, and a lot of variations.
Sonic cannonball comes into play.
Huh.
Rains of pores. Yikes. That's really what it rains of pores. Jeez. Hey.
Okay. So let's see what happened here. What's the main line? Because I have no idea. I haven't looked at this in years.
You mentioned speculate when you play a move. Do you only do that in Blitz?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Let's see. H5 has only been played 2 times, and it's 100% win for white. E6 is the normal move, which just scores really well for white. So when I played H5, bishop D3, according to the engine, is just monstrous. And after H4, which was my plan, what's the problem? You lose a pawn, so I would probably go H3 first.
Seems like an alpha zero this idea.
And the knight's just good on F5. I get the point now, but it's like in Blitz, like the more it's thinking about it, the more it's like, I guess okay. It's a move.
One of those like world championship opening moves. Yeah, you got like a
Rook H5 is not a very human move, though. I wouldn't consider it. C5 I would definitely consider. White just seems to have a good knight. Okay, H5 doesn't work there, but like that, I knew it probably was objectively wrong, but my opponent is 2,000, and normally that equates to like a 1,600 or 1,700 US chess player. So I feel comfortable in 3-minute chess that someone that's 1,700 USCF is not going to be able to refute a random move that probably has one continuation to beat it. So as soon as I play H5, like the natural move H4 comes, and I'm like, this changes the dynamics of the position. We're no longer in theory, to my knowledge, and now it's just a game. This is exactly what you want as the higher rated player. That's, you know, making a mess of the position and speculating somewhat. Okay. I get bishop G4. Knight E5 looks good. But my opponent kind of curled himself up in a ball unnecessarily. And as soon as we saw this, and then what's first choice?
Ooh,
Knight H7. But G5 is not a move that I considered. It's counterintuitive. I did not see this idea with H4 at all.
Ooh.
And I don't understand it still. I mean,
I just would.
Like it says F4. Okay, what about rook e1? Like a passive move. Okay, knight takes G5. Okay, fair enough. I'm pleased with the overall plan, though. Knight d5, that makes sense. I already have control. I ended up doing that later, so I definitely should have spotted that here. That makes sense. But I did my typical thing. I got my advantage, and then I consolidate. Mm-hmm. Like, that's my nature as a player. F5 also makes a lot of sense to play F4.
What's a typical mistake someone in a position that black has right now they would do and lose the game?
Be overly optimistic about the fact that you just have like extra material here. They would want to be like, okay, this knight sucks. Put the knight there, but then that allows bishop g5, and you're kind of stuck.
Okay.
Like, you have to watch out for these types of things. Like, not taking opponent's counterplay seriously. Your opponent has the bishop here. So opening up the position without proper precaution, you'll die. So, like, notice how I'm handling it. I'm like, okay, knight d5. I'm keeping an eye on your bishop, so I have the option to snatch the bishop pair at first opportunity. And then queen c7. I'm like, okay, I'm focusing on making sure your pawn can't move, you can't do much here. And only now do I take. And I'm saying, okay, would you like to trade more? Because the further we trade, the easier the prospects get. And like you'll watch the eval jump hardcore if takes.
Yeah.
Because now it's a good knight versus bad bishop situation, and I have the extra outside pass pawn. So all I have to do is trade queens, and I don't need to make any changes in position. I can just shuffle to win this game. So
Respect the counterplay, potentially.
c5 at like, okay, now that it's thinking about it, it's bouncing between c5 and e5, which there's a pin. I need to alter the pawn structure. And like I said, as soon as I saw that move, I'm like, you stepped on a landmine square. And then that encourages me to get a piece that wasn't doing anything into the attack. And then I play queen f4, which is, again, a speculative move, but my opponent has been using gobs of time, which indicates he is teetering on defeat, because if you're using that much time in a position where there isn't pressure on you, there's now pressure on you, and you're going to crack. And that's where we get the forcing continuation, which basically, you know, he only had a second there, so you can't fault him too much for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of, I mean, it was an interesting game, and this is what happens when, like, a master plays a position that they're not familiar with. You end up with a move like h5, and objectively, it's a bad move. But this is where it's kind of like, and I have this happen in my chessable courses frequently, where someone will be like, but this move is first choice according to the engine. And it's extremely obvious how the other side can just make a draw. Any say, player that's 1200 plus can go, and that's the best move in the position. But this move, there's only, from what I can see, one real idea for white. Bishop d3 and then knight f5, which is kind of hard to spot. I mean, for me anyway, I don't play these types of positions with white. That's more in the vein of like the way Simon Williams writes and plays. He'll play a lot of speculative things. You have to prove as a chess player that you can refute something over the board and figure it out. And I think a lot of that is lost in the computer age. You used to see it a lot back in the 90s and pre-computer age. So I definitely try to inject it into my own play when possible. I will speculate over the board, like you asked. I just find that move and the concept interesting, and that's why I played it without much thought. Like, how much time did I spend on that move? Like 8 seconds? So we'll end it there on that note.